Hi, you guys. All right, so I'm jumping on the bandwagon. I decided to start a podcast for you guys. If you're new here, welcome. So just to kind of recap everything, I have been on a weight loss journey since I can remember, since 2015. It's been up and down, up and down. And so I created this YouTube channel and now this podcast just to really kind of share everything I'm going through because you figure one thing out and then the weight comes back and you're like, I thought I had it this time. And so I just kind of want to share like all of this stuff that I'm learning because every time I'm losing weight, like now, I'm always looking to other people to see like what did you do? Like what made it different? Because I really believe that we all have the capability, it's all in our mind. And what are those like mental shifts that are getting us there? So here we go. I'm jumping on the bandwagon. We're doing a podcast. I think that this is kind of good for me because whenever I do YouTube videos, I'm always trying to like rush myself. So hopefully this will be a good way just to kind of have like weight loss diaries. So I haven't posted for the past month. I started doing the OMAD diet and I had trouble with it because my body hadn't adjusted to it. So for the first month, I was having digestion issues, having to use the bathroom. I was really, really lightheaded. I had really bad um, brain fog where I just almost didn't feel like myself. So I was really disappointed because I love the OMAD diet. I love that it's kind of teaching me how to say no. I know that sounds terrible, but it's so hard for me every time I have breakfast, lunch, dinner to say, no, I'm just going to have like chicken and broccoli. So I have been loving the OMAD diet because it allows me to kind of say yes to myself, eat whatever I want. And it's teaching me to say no to the rest of the meals. So it's like just like baby steps. So it feels like easy enough, but it still feels like I'm making progress and making steps in the right direction. So I absolutely love it. So I started off by eating whatever I wanted, and I didn't do OMAD 7 days a week. It was just like slowly getting myself to where I could do 3 days a week, 4 days a week. And each time I did it, I did have like digestive issues. And throughout my research, I found out it's usually just like my sodium levels that are down. So I started having broth. That helped me. And then I also ended up widening my window. So for this past month that I haven't recorded, I was just really kind of toying around with it, and I widened my window. So instead of just doing one meal a day, I started doing like I would start eating at 1 o'clock and finish eating at like 5 o'clock. So I let myself have 2 meals, and that way it just kind of let my body adjust because it was so extreme that I would get like so tired. Had really, really bad brain fog, and I was so frustrated because I'm like, I love this OMAD diet. It's like allowing me to say no in some areas and making me feel progress. I don't want to stop it. So after I widened it, now I'm finally to where I'm doing 1 meal a day. And I'm still not eating perfect. I'm still eating french fries. I'm still eating like chicken fingers and stuff like that. But I've been doing the 1 meal a day for, mm, I would say 5 days a week for 2 weeks now. So I'm still transitioning. I'm not doing it consistently yet, but I'm working my way there. It's a very baby step, but for me, I like this because right now, I feel like if I haven't been, wasn't been, if I, I feel like if I had not been doing this by now, then I would still be like, okay, I'm going to start my diet Monday. Okay, I'm going to start my diet Monday. So this is at least like giving me some sense of progress and moving towards the right direction. But the big thing really is like it's just allowing me to say no. So I don't eat in the mornings, I don't eat in the evenings, and I still get those cravings or that appetite in the evening where I'm like, oh, pizza would be good. Or, I would like to eat this or that. But I just tell myself, okay, Shalina, just push past the next few hours and then wake up, and then it's easy for me to not eat like the first half of the day. So it's just teaching me to kind of say no just a little bit. And recently, I've started getting to where like I feel comfortable with the 1 meal a day now. It's not such a fight. Like it just is starting to feel like more of my life. So now I'm like, I had to make myself start saying no to food because, I'm comfortable now with having just one meal a day, but I am not, I have to make sure that I keep going and I don't just stop there. So this week I started doing, okay, like, instead of eating the entire batch of fries, only have half the fries. And I know that sounds silly, but it's teaching me to say no. And I keep reminding myself, like, even if I just don't have these last few fries, I'll be satisfied. And so I make myself wait. And sure enough, like 15, 20 minutes later, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm fine. Like, I don't even need it. Because you know how, like, sometimes you know you should stop eating, but you're like, no, you just can't stop yourself. You're like, I just need a couple more. If I just, like, say no and let it ride, 15, 20 minutes later, I'm like, oh, I'm fine. I'm full. Like, I'm satisfied. Like, I'm good till I eat tomorrow. So this OMAD diet is like where I want to be for the rest of my life. And it's easy for me to like kind of work it around social activities. If I have a family function, I'll just kind of save that for my meal, and I'm flexible with it. So if something comes up and I'm super hungry, need to eat, I'll have two meals, and I think that's kind of good to have variety, so it kind of keeps your body guessing, so you're not like staying in one place. Um but let's see. Um, and one of my favorite things about this OMAD diet is that my arthritis in my hip has gone away. I actually haven't felt it in a couple weeks, even with the rain. I feel like I'm really getting old because I'm like, oh, it's raining and I don't even feel arthritis in my hips. And I think it just has to do with all of the benefits of OMAD and fasting and bringing down inflammation. I love that my stomach feels flat in the morning when I wake up. It's just the best feeling to not wake up feeling like so bloated all the time. So I'm still like getting to where I'm need to be more consistent, but at least I'm making progress and it feels good to finally be making progress. I have lost maybe like 7 pounds. I just hit 189 the other day, and then I had fries yesterday, so it went back up to 190. But I think as I continue developing this ability to say no to myself, I think as the weeks go by, I'll start getting better and better with this OMAD. Um, One of the biggest things why I decided to like start back again with YouTube and podcasts and starting the podcast is because I feel like I say this every time, but I feel like I'm starting to reach a new turning point. You know how like we always end up losing weight like after a breakup or some big life event, and I've said this a million times, but it's true. That's what happens, and I feel like I'm kind of at that place, and the reason why I think we end up having such a big shift at the end of a breakup or a big life event is because it forces us to actually like stop and really focus on ourselves. And you know how it's just like a different energy. The My favorite example is like a breakup, because with a breakup you just have to renew your identity and you have to kind of like look at yourself, and you're like, okay, where do I want my life to go now? What do I want for my life? And it's just a completely different kind of focusing on yourself. And that's where I'm at now. I know I've like for the past year, I've been like, I've got to focus on myself. I got to focus on myself. And then knowing what to do and actually doing it are two different things. And just recently, it's just kind of like I think it's about having a strong why. Like we know we need to focus on ourselves, but I think it's just about having that really strong why. And there's a quote, I wish I had it pulled up, but it says your relationship with yourself sets the tone for all of your other relationships. And sure enough, I remember what every single time I've gotten in shape, it was always that I was like seriously focused on myself and my life and what I want for my life and self love and pouring into myself and all of the good stuff. And it was coming from a genuine place. It wasn't coming from I know I need to do this, so I'm just going to go through the motions. It was seriously like a pouring into myself. And sure enough, all of my relationships around me were better. Everything in my life was better. And it was just, I felt so good. And so, like, I went and did my walk slash run this morning, and I realized to myself, like, I'm doing it. Yeah, it's nice that it has a benefit of burning calories, but I'm more so doing it now because it just makes me feel good. It just feels good to be out in nature and walking and knowing that I'm doing something for me and, all these little things. And I really think that this is the key for us when it comes to weight loss is just the focus on ourselves, because every single time I've lost weight, I had focus on myself. And every time I start getting the weight back, I stop having focus on myself. I stop listening to my podcast. I stop listening to my audiobooks. I stop doing all of the self-help research on growing myself and trying to be the best version of myself. And I think it just has to come from a really raw place. And the quote, I actually have it pulled up on my computer screen, the Bible verse, you will seek me and find me when you seek me with your whole heart, with all your heart. That's, I think, a Bible scripture. And it's like talking about coming from such a true, genuine place. And I think it's the same thing when we, are really focused on ourselves, not to get an end result, but it's kind of like a letting go and just kind of being with ourselves and just wanting the best for ourselves, I think is where it's at for me. Because every time, I know I keep saying it, but every time I've done that, the weight has just been more like a byproduct. And I think it just comes back to like putting more value on ourselves, realizing that, it's so easy to get caught up in everything around us that it's easy to place value there. But the most important thing is ourselves, because how well we develop ourselves allows all those different things in our life to change or be better or grow, whatnot. Um, so yeah, it's just, coming from that place of like self love. And I know I've been talking for the past year, all of my videos have been, I'm going to start pouring into myself. And I genuinely am trying, or was trying, but I think what's different from now and then is, I think, really just the realization of how important it is to come from here first. I don't know how to explain it. Um but we are the only ones that are like have to live with us ourselves 24/7. We're the ones that when we go to the grocery store, when we're out about the day, everyone we come across, we are the one. And so developing ourselves and being the best self we can gives us the best tool for when we go out and want to provide for other people or help other people or make a difference in someone's day. And so I think that's kind of where I'm coming from now. It's like I think the past year has been an accumulation up to here, and now I feel like I'm finally starting to really realize the better I can develop myself, the better everything else around me, it trickles into everything else around me. Because I think sometimes, we kind of like, whether it's our boss or whatever's going on, we kind of like want people to live up to the standard. And the only thing we can control is ourselves, and deciding who we want to be in reaction to, trying to be the best version of ourselves in reaction to that. And I do feel like the past year I became so external with everything going, so focused on everything going on around me. And I noticed that looking back, slowly but surely, the focus started to shift from myself into everything else around me. And, we can't control everything around us, but we can control how we show up in the world. And so that's where like I'm coming from now. And this just like really all kind of came down on me like this past week, which is, it feels really good. It's really exciting to finally get there, because it's like I know I need to get to this place, and to finally get there is like a relief. So Anyways, I just wanted to share this with you guys. Thank you guys for listening. I'm going to get better about being consistent on here. Please like post some questions if you guys want me to answer on the next podcast. Um, we're gonna figure it out. Like I promised myself, like almost 10 years ago. I don't know how, but the weight's going to come off. I'm going to figure it out and I'm going to keep it off. And I think this is where it's at, is keeping the focus on myself. And I know it's hard because it feels kind of selfish, but like the more we can develop ourselves, the better our tool is when we go out into the world and with our relationships, with everything else around us. So, anyways, I hope you guys are having a great day. Thank you guys so much for listening, and I can't wait to talk to you guys next time. Mwah.